Welcome to the VTC virtual classroom entitled 100 Ways to Get More from Your Digital Camera. And we don't mean just from the camera itself. Quite a few of these lessons will show you how to use an image editing program. Usually we'll be using Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Photoshop Elements. But you could do the same things that we're going to show you here in many other image editing programs as well. So if you already own one, you'll probably learn something from these lessons. Before we get started, there are some things that you should know briefly about the PC versus the Macintosh, so you'll know how to interpret what the lessons are teaching you depending on which platform you happen to be working on. The very first thing, of course, is the keystrokes that we'll be showing you in the lessons, so that you know which key to push depending on which platform you're on. The Macintosh and the PC have quite a few keys in common, although 4 of them aren't always labeled the same thing. Those 4 keys are the Command Control key, abbreviated CMD in the Macintosh interface and CTRL in Windows, the Option Alt key, abbreviated OPT on the Macintosh and ALT in Windows, delete backspace, which are spelled out on both platforms, and return on the Macintosh and enter in Windows. There are also 3 keys that are the same in both the Macintosh and on Windows. They're the space bar, the arrow keys, and the function keys. Finally, there are 2 keys that are unique to each platform. There's the Control key on the Macintosh, which is not the same as the Control key in Windows, and is always spelled out when the key is labeled on the Macintosh, CONTROL. And in Windows, there's a little key called the Windows key that has the Windows logo printed on it. Also, I'll give you a quick idea of the difference between the interface for the Windows Explorer and the Macintosh Finder. We are always going to be talking about the latest versions of software, including operating systems, in these lessons. If you use an older version, we assume you're a more experienced user and will know what to do on your computer. Besides, there just isn't enough time and space to explain everything. We will do our best, though. So here's the Windows Explorer. Over here in this area, you see icons that start programs that are on what's called the desktop. Over here you see a window that happens to be running Internet Explorer, which is how you navigate for files and find them in Windows. And image management is really excellent in Windows XP. And one thing that you can do is you can use a slideshow view. You choose the slideshow view from this little menu right here. It drops down. You can choose slideshow. And when you do, you can then get a very nice large preview of any image that happens to be the one selected in this film strip here. You can tell which one's selected by the highlight around it. See the little gray frame? You can go from one image in that film strip to the next by clicking these 2 blue buttons under the image. One to go to the image to the left, the other go to the image to the right. You can also rotate the thumbnail and the image by clicking these icons down here underneath the window. If you click this one on the left, it will flip the image 90 degrees to the left. If you click this one on the right, it will flip the image 90 degrees to the right. Now I'll show you the interface in the Macintosh Finder. This gray area here is called the desktop. Very much like the Windows desktop. It's got icons, has a start bar down at the bottom. You can see our drives over to the right. We're assuming that you've been very organized and organized them this way. Down here we see a window that's been opened for a folder that has image files in it. One advantage that Windows has is a much larger thumbnail than the Macintosh provides us with, unless you happen to be working in iPhoto. So that's it for our introduction to the differences between the PC and the Macintosh, a little introduction to myself and a little bit of knowledge about what kind of a course this is going to be. You have a much more exciting future ahead of you in taking these lessons, however, as you'll soon begin to discover.